Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. I think we're live now. That's great. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. It is January 4th, 2001, and the market, bit of a little sell-off here. I got thrown out of part of my position in Apple, but Tesla's doing good, and we may have another opportunity with we may have another opportunity with Tesla, which is going to be great. I think the next opportunity is about at the 750 level. So hopefully at that level we're going to see some some good stuff. So without further ado, let's kind of get into the trading. So hopefully I'm going to get should come up here a second. I'm getting a little bit of a pushback on my YouTube feed, but Tesla seems to be, my TikTok seems to be going good. Thanks for everybody for joining me here. Hopefully we're going to get this thing rolling. I'm going to try to see if, my goodness gracious, it just seems to be a little bit of a bandwidth constraint here. Yeah, there we go. I think we're back. Hopefully now. Let's see. So without further ado, let's go to the first slide here. And basically that is, there we go. Apple has triggered the sell rule, and that's not too fun when it triggers the sell rule. Basically what's going on here is that, it was moving up very nicely, and then last few days it's pulled back. It pulled into this little kind of this cherry sort of colored area, and that's the loss zone. And of course, so I did sell some of my positions, hopefully waiting for it to turn and move higher. It has moved higher since this slide was made, basically 7% down from the buy point. So we're waiting to kind of to see if it bounces off the 21-day line. That's this little green line here, and if it does and then moves higher, we may be back. But we kind of have to protect ourselves just so that if the thing does continue to fall, it won't fall too much further. So that's a big deal here as well. So hopefully, come on. Okay, hopefully I'm going to get my my feedback here. I've got 29 people on, so goodness gracious, let's see if we can get the, yeah, there we go. We just had a little bit of a interesting, because sometimes it gets clogged up here, and we can't get we can't get our we can't get the feed going. So let's take a look at the market direction next. And that, of course, is we are still in a confirmed uptrend, but, it did sort of make a high on the market did sort of make a high on the 31st. So, we did, we have pulled back a little bit from that. The S&P is down, and so is the Dow Jones, but we're still above that very important 30,000 on the Dow Jones. So we're still in a confirmed uptrend. So, the rally is not over by a long shot. The rally is not over by a long shot. It's just getting to the point where, we're going to have to find some new positions to be in. So let me take a look at the Nasdaq Composite and just kind of show you what happened. Basically, on the 31st, we were at the all-time high here. We've pulled back, and we're pulling back up a little bit. We pulled back to the 21-day line. Hopefully, we'll get a bounce off there. There's been a lot of selling. I think a lot of it is, kind of a sell on rumor thing, because obviously tomorrow coming up is a very big, very momentous day. We're going to find out what happens with the election. We're going to find out. They're going to challenge it, but we're going to find out if if they're going to be able to challenge it successfully. So there's going to be a little bit of a there's a little bit of apprehension going on right now with that. So that's one of the things is maybe it's probably not the best time to start new positions. I did move into GBTC a little bit more today. That's sort of a kind of a volatility play more than anything else. The same is true with the S&P 500. I do think, though, with Tesla going into the S&P, I think we're going to see even more good stuff happening. Possibly with the with that going forward. But for right now, it's pulled back again. And that's kind of that's kind of the situation here. I just want to kind of show you my positions currently, and I did trim some positions, so they're a little bit different than than they were before. I'm still in Apple. It's when this is taken, it's at 129. It pulled back briefly to 127. I think it's moving back up again. Just don't know. A lot of volume. People are kind of selling here. Some people are taking profits, and but I do think the year looks good for Apple. We'll see. Just a question there. Blink charging. It's pulled back. I've basically sold a option at the 35 level, so that's going to be expiring on the 15th of January. So I'm still pretty good in there. Progeny, this has been a very good one. I may increase the position. Of course, as I said today, I did increase my position in GBTC. This is the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. They hold about 4% of the world's Bitcoin, so that can be big deal for a lot of people. And of course, Tesla is seems like it's on the move. I think the next real buy point on Tesla is going to be about 745, I think, or you're possibly in there. I'm going to try to analyze it a little bit today, on the show, so that we can kind of get a handle on that. Kind of get a handle on that. So, just wanted to. Okay, here we go. And this is a question from Mr. Singh. Thank you very much, Mr. Singh, for for tuning in. And basically, the reason I sold Apple, I didn't really want to sell Apple, but I'm very strict in terms of my rules. I typically like to conform pretty much to the sell rule, and it did. Apple did violate the sell rule today, and it pulled below very key marks. So I want to show you that chart really quickly here. We have a situation where we did pull below that very key very key level here, right here. So this is why I sold. Now, when it returns, I will buy it again as it moves probably above the 10-day line. But for right now, I'm out of the stock. It has pulled back. It's pulling back up now. It sort of bounced off of this 21-day line. I mean, pretty much everything is intact still. I mean, it's got 82 relative strength, and the fundamentals look really good. So let's kind of look at the weekly chart. Of course, this is the first day of the week, so it's going to show a pullback on that a little bit. But we're still below that the 137.98 buy point. And the reason I sold was because, excuse me, I had to take a drink of water. When it pulls back below 7% below that buy point, I'm a seller, and the reason is because that's over time that's been the case. So that is the reason I sold. Now the question is, possibly will I come back in? Absolutely, I'm very likely to come back in, but I want to protect my my capital. So I just have a hard and fast rule that if it pulls back, and if I bought near or at the buy point, and it pulls back, I'm a seller. So that's the reason. Now I want to show you the Neri. This also pulled back below, and it's almost not quite as far. I had a pretty tight stop loss on this one. It looks as if it moved above the buy point, and then that failed. So hopefully, if this turns, I'll be back in that one again. So, but thank you very much for that. Thank you for that, and thank you for the Happy New Year. All right, so Apple stopped out at 128.90. Will it bounce back anytime soon? You know what? I think it's bouncing back right now, as a matter of fact. Very interesting that you mentioned that, because currently, at least right now, it's at 129.32. You can see this is a live chart of Apple currently 129. That's 129.34. So it definitely is bouncing back. It's just one of those things. There was a lot of people that sold, and above 137. It's still a good time to get in. I'm still very bullish in Apple. I do have a position that I acquired a little bit. It's a little bit longer term position that I acquired a little bit ago. I have a little bit lower average cost, so I'm still in with that portfolio, but with a small portfolio, I am sold out. So, heck, you can't always get it. Can't always get it every time. But you certainly try a lot to do that. But I do think it'll be back, and so it's kind of one of those things where you get shaken out. Hey Jim, I would love your take on crowd entry points, please. Cheers, thanks. Hey, great. Well, I hope you had a good New Year. I certainly did. And for everybody, for all my friends, all over in Thailand and Europe and everything, Happy New Year. Okay, let's look at CrowdStrike really quick to see if there's just any way we can buy this thing. Well, it's pulled back significantly. It's pulled back significantly, almost to the 21-day line. Let's see if there's anything on the 60-minute chart that's kind of showing us how it's trading. Well, it's right around 200. It seems as if, and unfortunately the last real buy point on this is 153.90. So it's way back down here. I just want to kind of show you that. That's the last buy point right here. Is this 153.90. Unfortunately, we don't have a buy point. But here's what I would do on this one. I think it's buyable. I think CrowdStrike is buyable. Let's see if it pulls back to the 21-day line and reverses. So what I would do here is I would set a buy stop limit order right above where it is now. So what I would do is I would set a buy stop limit order at about 202 or so. And that's a good till cancel for 1 day only. And if it reverses above that, it will buy. But right now it looks like it is pivoting down. It is moving down. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, unfortunately, it seems like it is topped out. It's going to pull back a little bit here. But I have a lot of confidence that we will see this one move higher because the sales are good and we have increasing fund ownership. So there's a lot of things to like about this one. Right now, we're going to have to wait for a reversal. And the reversal, and I'll show you kind of where that is, that will be off of this line here. I'm just trying to identify it here. This little green line here is the 21-day exponential. And we're looking basically, for it to pull back and then hopefully reverse position and come back up. You see it's done it here as well. This happens periodically. This is sort of a area that it can reverse on. Remember, we always want to buy as it's going higher. So one of the ways that you possibly could buy this on the reversal is to do it with a buy stop limit order, and then keep pushing your limit down, and then when it reverses up, you will have bought it at the right place. But I do think it's going to reverse off of the 21-day exponential. So don't buy it right now, but very quickly you might have a buy there. Happy New Year for everyone. I started watching since about October, and I can say your strategy rules. Thank you, Kay. Thank you very, very much. It's not I wish this was only my strategy. Boy, I would be so smart, but I am not. I am just a follower of the Can Slim method, which is a great method, and it allows you basically to buy it right. And Can Slim method was invented by William O'Neill. And it's based on some other methods that are earlier. There's some earlier methods in there, but you can find out more about the Can Slim method basically by going to to Amazon and looking for How to Make Money in Stocks: A Winning System, Good Times or Bad by William O'Neill. And it's in the 4th edition, and it's definitely worth your time looking at it because you definitely can make some money. And there's going to be money to be made this next year. And believe it or not, I don't think the run for Tesla is over, if you can believe it. It just seems like keeps on going up. But we want to be getting ready for the next buy point on Tesla, which I do believe is around the corner. And I want to kind of show you this on the map, on the chart. Same difference, I guess. Okay, so let's look at that daily chart of Tesla here. Just kind of scout out those buy points. The buy point that I really see, and I'm going to go over here to the weekly chart because that's kind of where we got to start, is right about here. It's right about the 742.38 range. So let's see if on the 60-minute chart we can find that. Yeah, there seems to be some resistance right about 743. So I suspect the next really good buy point for it's a micro buy point, not a true buy point for Tesla, is going to be as it crosses above 745. So I hopefully have more for you on that on the action trade alerts. By the way, if you're interested, I'm going to be sending out an action trade alert hopefully today if I get around to it. I took a nice vacation, so I didn't answer a lot of my mail. I apologize, everybody that is writing in. I so appreciate everything. I just haven't gotten around to getting to everybody, and I apologize for that. But if you want to get the action trade alerts, just go to www.Dallas Trading Floor and give first and last name and a email address, and it's all free. But I'm going to try to come out with a kind of an action plan on trading Tesla, because I do think we're going to move to a next key buy point, which is about 745. It's not a true pivot, by the way. I don't want to say that it is, but I do think that is going to be, if we can move above that, I think we're going to be even going higher, if you can believe that. I was a little bit off with my prediction for, for Tesla this year. I said it would reach, I always said it would be over 700. It got to 695. It actually, on the last day of trading, on Friday, it got to 705. So I guess I was pretty close. But, I do think that we're coming up for an exciting opportunity on Tesla at 745, if you could believe that. Just amazing how things are like that. Okay, so let's go to the next question. Oh, that's Kay. Thank you again. Riot Blockchain. I really like this one. I do think that we're going to see, along with GBTC, I think that Riot Blockchain is sort of the other really good play when it comes to, when it basically comes to blockchain and things like that. It's pulled back a little bit today. It's at 1643.99 relative strength. Just look at that. Isn't that amazing? That is just terrific. A lot of selling going on today, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we're ready to change that. Here's what I would recommend on Riot Blockchain, and here's how I'm going to play it. Currently, I do think that it's going to move up from here. I do want to see it move above about 1730 before I want to buy it again. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to set my buy stop limit order at about 1750, and if it moves above that, then I will buy that. So I will hopefully put together a chart school on that to kind of give you that. And the chart schools are available on the YouTube site, and so I could show you that really easy. By the way, it really helps me if you subscribe to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. But hopefully I'll have a chart school on how to buy Riot Blockchain, because this is one of the ones I'm interested in trading as well, and I think it's going to do great this next year, and I think it could possibly move and double even. So very, very exciting stock coming into the new year. All right, so let's look next. Snapchat. Let's look at Snap really quick. SNAP is the symbol for. Used to be called Snapchat. Now it's just Snap Incorporated. Get that in there. SNAP. Got those fingers from drinking too much brandy for New Year's, so a little bit slow on that. Okay, we've pulled back a little bit. We've pulled below the 21-day moving average, so it's not the optimal time to buy it right now. I don't know if there's going to be a reversal. It looks like we've had a trend change. Let's look at the weekly chart. So we might not be necessarily a good time for Snap. It's still got an excellent relative strength, but remember, the relative strength here is over a year time frame. So this is a little bit deceptive here. What I think we have to look at with Snap is to see if we've had a trend change. Now the question is, can it hold the 21-day line? I am not so sure that it can. It looks like we're having a little bit of adjustment. I think it may pull back down to as low as about 37.35. So right now, I wouldn't be in Snap. I like it. I think it's a watch list stock, but I just don't think it's time to buy it right now because it's just not. It's changed direction on us. All right. So thoughts on SNE? Let's look at SNE real quick. SNE. Okay, that's Sony. I remember when, man, I'm of the age when Sony was the awesome thing, you know, and I even have a Sony television today. I really like it. It's old, but it's really nice, actually. Sony has been having trouble as of late, but their PlayStation, of course, doing some pretty good stuff. It's pulled back. It's right about 100 right now, and of course, these are the American shares. These are the ones that are traded actually in New York, not on the Tokyo Exchange. Let's see. Do I have anything really to say here? Well, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't be a buyer right now, even though I know that you like it. It's got a 78 relative strength. Let's see. And we have a checklist, very good checklist, 7 out of 9. So that's definitely meets the smell test. The ownership is quite good for funds. We've got 147 funds in it. And remember, it's the funds going into a stock that's going to tell you, you know, what it's worth. So that's really what pushes the stock up, is the amount of funds. Now, here is one thing that you got to be careful about with Sony American anyways. It only has 3% fund ownership. Now, that's a little bit deceiving because, of course, it is a Japanese stock, and there are funds that are in Japan that are in it, in the Japanese shares. But these are the American shares. So here's what I would say, Caden, for Sony America. I just don't think it's the one you want right now. Even though they are, you know, the PlayStation is doing great, of course, as usual. I don't think. I think there are better opportunities out there than this one. So let's look at PLNT. All right. There we go. Planet Fitness. You know, Planet Fitness. Here's the thing about Planet Fitness and all fitness. You know, I definitely need some more fitness myself. And I'd probably be a customer, hopefully, of, you know, once again, that quest to lose those pounds. Well, hopefully I'll do it this time. But, you know, here's the thing about Planet Fitness. I just don't like the business model. We're well below the pivot. The pivot is 79.60. We have a 69 relative strength, so I'm not really in love with that. We do have a decreasing fund ownership, not so good there, and it does not pass the spell test. So, you know, here's the thing. I mean, I'm sorry about this. This is just, this is not this is not fun to say. This is not one for you. I don't think you're going to like this one. I wouldn't even watch list it. Planet Fitness, I think it's, you know, it's on another planet, so not you know, not what you want to go on. Let's take a look for people on TikTok. I've hopefully I have get a, here we go. Okay, what about Zoom? This is a question from TikTok. So let's take a look at Zoom ZM and see if I can give you something good there. Let's see, Zoom video. Wow, yeah. You know, this was a better chart. Unfortunately, it seems as if, let's go to the weekly chart first to look. We always want to start with the weekly chart, and we want to determine what is the direction, the overall direction. Well, unfortunately, looking at this chart, the overall direction, it looks like it's peaked out. It peaked out at about, Zoom peaked out at about 600. It's now pulling back, so it's just not the time to be in this. It's pulled up a little bit. Maybe there's going to be a reversal on Zoom, but right now I don't think we can buy it. It's just it's not there. It still has an extremely strong relative strength, and you know, look at these sales. They're just going up like crazy. But the thing about it is, and it does have a positive cash flow, and we do have increasing fund ownership. So everything's looking good there. But the problem is the general direction of this stock is down. So not time to buy that. Remember, the first rule that we want to be on is we want to buy something only when it has the right direction. And currently the direction for Zoom is downward. Okay, it's pulled below the 40-day line and below the 21-day exponential, and it peaked out. Its top was at 588.84. So it is pulling back. So I can't recommend, unfortunately, Zoom for you right now. If you have taken more than a 7%, if it's moved down more than 7% from where you bought it, you probably want to sell it. Just because I think it looks like it is going lower. Now, it probably will reverse, but for right now, I just think you got to be careful and protect those profits if you have them, because they're so hard to get. Why is Walmart? This is a question for. This is a question off of Tip Night. Why is Walmart up today? Do you think it will shoot up? Well, you never can tell about shooting up. Here's the thing. The reason stocks move up quickly is because there's institutional buyers buying them. So that's really what we're looking for. Individual buyers like us, we're little minnows, and we're sort of in the big sea, and we're looking to see where those whales are going because we can't really push up or down a stock. We're not big enough. But it's the institutions getting in and out of the stock that is the key. So let's look at Walmart to see what we can see on that. First of all, we're going to start with the weekly chart, of course, as we always do. We start with that weekly chart because that's going to tell us an awful lot of information regarding regarding the stock. So this is a chart of this is the weekly chart, and as you can see, we do have essentially an upward trend here. So that is very, very good. But as of late, the trend has been pulling back. The relative strength is only 37 on Walmart, which I just don't like it. It's not strong enough for me. Even though we have had some buying in here, I think this might, it looks like this is a little bit of a break in a trend, but we do have something here that I think is quite significant, and that is we have pulled back essentially from the buy point. The buy point, the buy point on this stock was 151.33, and unfortunately, currently it is at 146.70. Pulled back. Now it has pulled back up to the 40-day line. That can be a very good place to buy it. If it moves up tomorrow, you could possibly buy it. It's going to give you a range basically from about this level here on up to right about a little bit above the buy point. So the range that it's in currently is from about 144 up to about 153. So if this reverses, and possibly even you could even buy it today, but I'd like to see 2 days on this. If this reverses higher, and it looks like it is, you could buy this at this level, and it's probably going to move up to about 153 or so, 153. 152.50 about. So I do think that there is a little bit of a little bit of a change in the direction there. So this is definitely not. I wouldn't be in this one, but there is definitely some opportunity, I believe, for you to make a little bit of money in that. All right, so let's look at SAIL. Thanks, Dinesh. Appreciate it. SALE. Ooh, no, that's SAIL. SAIL. I wasn't the greatest when it came to spelling. I was better at numbers than I was at spelling. Just okay. We do have let's look at the weekly chart. I do think that we, again, just like the rest of everything in this market, seems like, with the exception of about Tesla, everything seems to be pulling back a little bit. Definitely pulling back today, pulling back to that 40-day line. There is probably an opportunity to buy it. Now, here's what you can do. It does look, we have it looks like we still have an upward trend here, but momentarily we're in a downward trend. Here's what you can do to kind of automatically buy that, and might make sense. Take your buy stop limit order and then put it right above where it is currently trading. Currently trading at about let's see. 52.32, so about 55. You want to put your buy stop limit order and then possibly push it down as the stock is reversing. So eventually it will meet in the middle, and you will get it on the upward tick. You always want to try to buy something as it's moving up. But other than that, we have very good relative strength at 93. That's looking very good. Let's look at the let's look at the funds, 65% in this, so that's really strong. And so a lot of things are looking very, very good with this. Would I enter at this point? No, I'd wait until there's an uptick, but we have a 100% checklist. Doesn't get any better than that, by the way. And we have some very good funds in here. Invesco Discovery, which I think is an excellent fund. 65% fund ownership in this, so very strong. Typically, any stock that has 20 to 65 or more fund ownership is going to be very strong in terms of the demand, so that's a good thing. So what I would do with sell point, I would wait until there was a turn on it. We might get a turn tomorrow, and the way to find it, and the question is, you say, Jim, well, how do you buy it when there's a turn? Well, here's how you do it. You set your buy stop limit order, and then you just keep moving that down, and eventually you'll get a turn. You'll get a bounce off of one of these lines, like the 21-day or the 40-day, and then when it moves up, then you will capture that profit. So I do have a video on how to do buy stop limit orders on the on the YouTube site, which is basically youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So that is a good place to look at that potential video. All right, so questions on Ahmad. Thank you for the call on Palantir. I got shaken out of Palantir. I'd made some money on Palantir, but I got shaken out of it. I still like Palantir a lot. I'm just trying to find the time that's right to buy it, because I want to buy it on the uptick, and it's not been behaving. Still has a very nice relative strength at 96, which is just awesome. And we are looking for a turn on this. I do think that we are likely to see that possibly at the 40-day line, about $22. Currently, I'm not in it, so I'm trying to wait to see kind of where we can go with it. It does look like there may be some support right about here, right about at the $17 mark, $17.50 mark. So I think we may have to wait on this, hopefully, to see it bounce, and then if it bounces, then we could probably get back into it. It's still a very, very fine stock, and I do think it's going to double this next year. So I think there's at least 100% in there. And also that's also for Harris. Thanks for watching today. All right, so Happy New Year. Thoughts about F. F is Ford, of course, as we all know. And, the Ford family still owns, I think, the Class A. No, the Class B, excuse me. I think it's the Class B. Yeah, it's just a two multi-tiered class. The family itself has the voting shares, so that's a little bit different with this one. But here's the thing about Ford. Ford has been pulling back, so not essentially an optimal time. Let's look at the weekly chart. Yeah, we definitely have a little bit of a pullback here. Not necessarily the time to buy it, but it is a very inexpensive stock at at basically $8.52. Now the question is, will it hold the line? I think it will, but I think that there's a better opportunity other than Ford, and it's GM actually. And this is the stock that I think is the better of the two domestic. Now, as you probably know, Fiat Chrysler is going to be merging with Citroën. It's going to be the two French companies. So that's going to create the fourth largest by cap automobile company. Now, by the way, Tesla, even though it doesn't produce nearly the number of the units, is the number one in terms of valuation car company in the world now. So that's not hard to believe. And then number two, of course, is Toyota. Then number three is VW. And I think this combination, Fiat Chrysler, Citroën, I can't remember the other French brand, that will be the fourth. And I don't know what the fifth is going to be. I think it's probably GM. So that's one of the reasons why I think that GM potentially is a better buy. It's about $40. I think it's a little better than Ford because it is the number one vehicle manufacturer in China. So that's kind of a cool thing. Happy New Year to you, Alex. I appreciate you watching very, very much. Okay, so let's see if we can get some more questions from TikTok. Thanks, everybody, and I hope you had a Happy New Year. Let's see. A lot of people. Oh, their question. Okay. What about NIO? I have Tesla in both. Yeah. Okay. NIO is probably, out of the Chinese companies, it's probably the best, and it's moving very nicely today. Very nice chart on NIO today. So let's look at the NIO chart really quick here, kind of give an idea. It is moved up very nicely, up $4.77 at 53.51. Now the question is, where's the next buy point on this thing? Well, it looks like we're consolidating a little bit here, which is good. This is a buy probably above this point here, and that currently is 56.42. So if you're not in NEO right now and you want to consider NEO, I think the time to be in it is as it moves above 56 because everything is kind of shaping up nicely for it. It's got a 99 relative strength. Let's look at the daily chart to make sure that I'm not just all wet here, but I think I'm pretty good here. About 56 is probably the ideal entry point for this. Scaling on this is a little bit off, so I can't really show you. I have to go to the weekly chart to show you this. But I do think that as it's making a higher high, that's probably when you want to go with NEO. NEO is interesting amongst a lot of the Chinese companies in that it has a agreement with the EU that it's going to be able to import some of their cars into the EU. So that is very strong. It's got an 8 out of 9 checklist, or about 88%, which is just stellar. I mean, the only thing better, of course, is a 9 out of 9, which is 100%. So it's looking very strong. It's got very, very good fund ownership at 577, but you probably know that. The question is, you're probably looking more for something tactical. And here's the thing about NEO. I would add to my position if it crosses above 56 on NEO. I don't know if I would start a new position, but I would definitely add to my position if it crosses above 56, because I think that NEO, it possibly can go even higher. Wow, just amazing. All right, let's look at Blink charging. And of course, everybody knows I'm in Blink charging. I've been with Blink really since it was below $10. This was last summer. We identified that here at Dallas Trading Floor as sort of potentially a stock that was going to do well. It's pulled off a little bit today, but I do think it has legs. Because it's moved up a lot since since in the last year or so. So let's kind of look at the daily chart here. It's pulled back. I think it's going to pull back basically to about this line here, which is the 21-day exponential. That's this little green line here, and I think it's going to pull back to that and then possibly bounce. Really, there seems like the floor is at about 34.67. Seems like the floor is about 34.67. So I don't think, it is pulled back a little bit. We'll see if it reverses. If it reverses higher, that could be a good time to get in it. It has got a very strong checklist. Very strong in relative terms. 6 out of 9. It's got an acceptable checklist, let's say it that way. It's a relatively small cap stock, but it has 28 funds in it. So that's pretty powerful. These are typically lower. This is typically not a mega cap stock, so not as many shares in this. It's a little bit more volatile, but it does have a 99 relative strength, so I think that it's still possibly investable. But the question is, you want to wait probably until it reverses. I think it's going to reverse probably about 34. That's kind of what it's looking like to me. About 34 should be the reversal for that. So, anyways. Do you teach stock trading? Well, I've tried to. Somewhat successfully, somewhat not. I have this thing called Chart School, and it's available on YouTube. So you just go over to YouTube. Dallas Trading Floor is the site, and then look at the chart schools, and then I have little topics. I'm going to be putting together hopefully a more maybe like a Udemy kind of thing for stock trading that will help a lot. But if you want to get started in stock trading, the best thing to do is to go to Amazon and buy the book, How to Make Money in Stocks, A Winning System, Good Times Are Bad by William O'Neill. And they will basically give you an idea of how you can do you can learn the CAN SLIM method. And I'm a CAN SLIM trader. Many of the top traders in the world are. I don't claim to be a top trader in the world, but many of the top traders in the world are CAN SLIM traders. And I think it's definitely worth learning. Great skill to have. Happy New Year. Oh, from Montreal, one of my favorite places. Thoughts on Workhorse and one of the ARK funds. Let's look at Workhorse, WKHS. And the great thing about Workhorse is that there's somebody's going to have to build the underbodies for all these new electrical vehicles, and that's probably going to be Workhorse. It's pulled up right above the 40-day line here. I'm looking currently at the daily. Let's look at the weekly chart. That's the best thing to look at. Okay, very nice. It's right hugging this 40-day line, and then there is, interestingly enough, a consolidation. Wow, that's very good. The pivot on Workhorse 22.90. So let me put that out there. So there is a buy point. Interestingly enough, there is a buy point on Workhorse WKHS, and that's equal to 22.90. And that's exciting. 22.90. Yeah. What do I mean by buy point? Well, what that means is that if the stock moves above that buy point, within 5% of it, that is a good place to buy it, because studies have shown over the years that you want to buy a stock going high, going higher, and that is the case with that level at 22.90. So 22.90 is a buy point for Workhorse. Very interesting, and it's a good stock. It's got a 99 relative strength, so I definitely like it. It looks like the trend is, it is an upward trend. So we definitely like to see that. We want to buy an upward trend if we possibly can. Well, we always want to buy an upward trend, not possibly, always want to buy an upward trend. So let's look at ARK. F, and of course these are ETFs, exchange traded funds, but this is the FinTech Innovation Fund, and this is one of Kathy Woods' very good funds. She has many good ones, though. It's got a relative strength of 88. I think they hold a lot of PayPal and other kind of FinTech stocks in here. With these, you buy ETFs a little bit differently than you buy stocks. When you buy a stock, you want to buy it close to a higher high. On an ETF, you can buy it pretty much any time. You can dollar cost average on an ETF, but not on an individual stock. So 88 is very good. Let's kind of look at the daily chart. Typically on ETFs, you're not going to make the kind of returns that you're going to make on individual stocks, but they can be very, very good. There was a buy point on this on a flat base, stage 2, at 42.33. Now we're a bit above that at 49.23. Now the question is, can we buy it at this level? Well, it looks like it is pulling back. We don't want to buy it as it's pulling back. We want to buy it as it's moving higher. That's what we want to do. But other than that, I think this is a very, very acceptable fund. 88 relative strength. I typically won't buy anything less than an 80, but I think this is a good one, Tom. I think you have a very good stock here picked out. This is a really ETF, so the traded fund. Now, would I buy it? I would wait until it's moving up. I always want to buy on the uptick. That's just me, and I think it served me well over the years. All right, so what is the chance of a correction in the next quarter? Who knows, Alex? I certainly don't. There's always a chance of correction. We did move up awful fast from the March 21st low that we made. We kind of had a flash correction from about February of last year, from about February to about March 23rd, and then it started turning. But yeah, I did think that I think there is a chance for a correction. So we want to be careful, and I don't think it's a good time to be overly leveraged right now. Let's see how the let's see what happens after the election is finalized. I really think that we have to be kind of a little bit careful. There's some political events out there that really aren't under that nobody can foresee, and I think that is going to be a fact until after the 21st of January. Excuse me, a little dry throat there. Thank you. All right, so let's see another question from TikTok. Should we short Alibaba? By the way, and this is the danger, unfortunately, of many of the Chinese stocks. I mean, here's the thing about the Chinese stocks. There's an awful lot of good companies in China, but the Chinese CCP is making their presence known. So, with Jack Ma disappearing and the accounting principles, I think you have to be really careful in the Chinese stocks. Let's look at BABA just really quickly. BABA is, I hope that Jack Ma is still alive, but I tell you, since he did make kind of a cryptic statement, about this, and he has not been seen since. So, and it seems to be moving lower. I mean, it has a relative strength of 10. I don't know if this is a head and shoulders yet, but it's looking kind of close. Looking like it looks like there's a shoulder here, looks like there's a head here, and this is potentially a shoulder. So yeah, I mean, actually, that's on a daily chart. Let's look on a weekly chart. See, I can really only see a head and shoulders on a weekly. Yeah, that's kind of looking like one. In a head and shoulders, this is going to be the higher shoulder. The head's going to be up here. And, yeah, it's going to fall through that 200-day line. You know what? You might be right about this DC 01991. I think you might be right. This may be a short. Alibaba may be a short. Actually, looking at this chart, I'm gonna do some more research on this, but this is absolutely maybe a short. I don't typically like to short in a market that's moving up, and right now it is, so it's a little bit dangerous. But kind of looking like a short to me. So, hey, Mark, let's look at ZUO really quick. ZUO is the symbol here. And okay, and let's see if I can give you kind of a good idea. You know what? I don't like this one. Zora Inc. Don't really know what they do. I don't like the chart. Sorry to say. This is on the weekly chart. Remember, we start with the weekly always. Let's look. Yeah, it's moving down, unfortunately. We have a downward trending chart overall, and that is not something you want to be involved with if you can avoid it. Yeah, okay. Even though it has rallied a little bit here, it sort of has two cut bases with these potential buy points here, but relative strength is 62. I'm not liking that. We do have increasing scales, which is good. We do have a lot of funds in it. That's excellent. But I just don't like this overall trend. Let's look at the smell test. Okay, it's a 55 smell test. Yeah, I have to say, we have to eliminate this one, Mark. I'm sorry. This one just doesn't pass. ZUO, I don't think you want to have this one. I don't even think this is a good watch list. It just is not strong enough. There's other ones out there that I think that might be better. Let's look at NYTA. Let's see if I can give you some information on that one. I like this chart a whole lot better. Let's look at it. Okay, basically what we have here on the weekly chart is we do have an ascension. You see, it's ascending even though it's pulled back from its buy point, which was 55.02. Currently trading at 43.57. The question is, it looks like it is bounced. It looks like it has bounced below the 40-day line. This may be the start of a new. This could potentially be a start of a reversal. This could be a reversal here. So this is interesting. We did have some good sales growth. We always want to look for that. Got nice fund sponsorship. I really like to see that. And we have 55% funds, so that's excellent. 90% relative strength, so that is good. 6 out of 9, that's definitely a winner. So here's the thing. This is a watch list. If this thing pulls above about 46, then I think you're really in the clear to buy it. Right now, it's a little bit below that at 43.57, so it's a little bit below that, but this is strong, and this is the one you want. I think out of these two, NVTA is the one you want, Mark. I think that's the one you want, and let's see if it pulls above the 40-day line, which is basically at about 46. So, no, I'm sorry, at 48. Excuse me, I misspoke there. Let me make sure if I get that absolutely right there. Oh, I'm sorry, 47. Excuse me. If it pulls above about 47, then I think NVTA might be the way to go. Definitely don't want to look at ZUO. Just not working. Not working. What do you think about Tesla stock? I bought today at 738. I think you're really good to go, Eric. I really do. Let's look at Tesla. But Tesla may, and I was basically in it. My last buy point on Tesla was 693. It was a little bit. It was before the new year, but I am looking for Tesla to move, hopefully, above about 642. I think that's going to be a very key level for Tesla coming up. That's kind of where I'm targeting. Is about. I think there's a micro pivot at about that level. Let's look at the daily chart again. Here we go. So let's kind of look at this to see sort of where we have anything. There's resistance, as you could tell. What I was talking about, there's resistance right at this level here, and that's about 695. And as you can see, it's pulled above that. It pulled above that on the last day of the year, and it's pulled above it on the first day of the year. Now, can it move above this? Well, it would be amazing if it did. It would be on this trajectory. So I don't see it pulling too much above about 742 before it meets resistance. I think what's going to happen, it's going to pull about to 742. I think it's going to pull back a little bit and then hopefully gather some steam. It could go back way. It could pull back all the way to about 705, but I still think you're in a good zone. I would set the stop limit right now at about this level here. This is about 705, so that's kind of where I would be looking to set my stop. Would be about 705, but I think you're okay. Tesla is going to bounce around. It's a volatile stock, but it could be very profitable trading it. So. I do think the proper buy point is above about 745 is where I see the proper buy point. Currently, I think the stop loss, you want to set a stop loss at about 705 on Tesla. There really isn't, Linus, there really isn't a good buy point right now for Tesla, just because it's the way it's trading. But I'll tell you what I'm going to be doing, and what I'm going to be doing on Tesla is when it moves above 745, which I do believe it's going to happen now. Whether it's going to be this week or this month, I don't know. When it does, I'm probably going to be buying more. But currently, my average price is right at basically that. I started once again after the sell-off. I started once again moving into the stock at about the 645 level, then the 695 level. So that's kind of where I'm in and out. Okay, let's look at Palantir. Well, we look at Palantir. Let's look at DraftKings. DKNG. I think is that DKNG? Is that right? Yeah, DraftKings. I should know this one offhand because I've been in it, and it's a good stock. It still is not the right time to buy it. It's pulled back. There is a buy point on it though, and let's it's a cup with handle 4 stage, 53.72. So let me put that out there on the chat. DKNG DraftKings. The buy point on this one is equal to 53.72. 53.72. Okay, so we're going to put that out there on the chat. Here's the thing about a buy point, of course, keep telling everyone, you want to buy a stock as it's moving higher. So the buy point is if the stock moves higher than this buy point, 53.72, then you want to buy it. You want to buy on the uptick as it's moving higher. So the buy point currently is that. Now, it is currently, DraftKings is currently at 44.86. So right now, you don't want to be buying this thing. You don't want to be buying, even though it has an extremely strong relative strength at 95. And a lot of the funds are in it. There's 36% of the owners of this stock are fun. So what would I go for, Palantir or DraftKings? I think right now they're both kind of in a situation where you're going to have to wait a little bit and probably not buy today. But DraftKings, if it moves above that buy point, that 53.72, I think that would be probably your best of the two that you've put forward. So, but they're both very good. So, thank you very much for that question. And I will probably hopefully have that on the small portfolio as well. I'm going to be updating the small portfolio. And by the way, if you're interested in getting a link to the small portfolio, it's easy to do. Just you have to go to www Dallas Trading Floor, and then there is a place that you can sign up. So let me kind of show you that as it looks on the let's see, the Dallas. And hopefully I will have a new website in the new year. Hopefully I will have have one in the new year. So hopefully I can get to that. Well, I can't get. It's not letting me. Goodness gracious, it just won't let me. Part of the issue is that I need I need a certificate, and I don't have a certificate. It's not letting me. So I've got my browser. I got to change. All this stuff is just it's a nuisance. But there you go. So hopefully I'll have that with a certificate soon, and that will solve a lot of the issues. That will solve a lot of the issues with getting to the Dallas Trading Floor site. Okay, so what about NEO? Peugeot, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I should know this because Citroën Peugeot is going to be merging with Fiat Chrysler, and it's going to form the fourth largest automobile company in the world, and it will be right behind, right behind Volkswagen. Number one in the world by valuation is Tesla, oddly enough. Number two, of course, is Toyota, and then you have Volkswagen, and the combined Peugeot, Citroën, Fiat Chrysler combination will be the number 4. So thank you very much for that, for bringing that up. Oh, and also Renault. Okay, Renault. So basically, all of the remaining French automobile companies are kind of rolled into one. I think it may end up like British Leyland. So hopefully they won't all go out of business like they did in Britain. Anyways, okay. Well, getting kind of down to the. Okay, let's look at Amazon. Amazon. Let's look at Amazon. Amazon. It's pulled back to the 40-day. So, is there anything to buy there? The buy point on Amazon is way up there on a full trades consolidation. It's still at 55.52. Currently, it's at the Amazon is at 31.86. So it is pulled below the line. Do I think it doesn't? It looks like it is still trending downward. Let's look at the weekly chart to see if I'm all wet here. But let's look at the weekly chart. Can't really tell anything. It's just hugging that 40-day line. I just don't see a really good place to buy Amazon at this point. It's at 66 relative strength. As a matter of fact, many of the FANGs and all those are not doing as well as they have. I just want to quickly check Microsoft because, Microsoft may be coming into a buying area, hopefully. MSFT. It has been pulling back, but it's kind of pretty choppy, basically. A lot of the FANGs have been kind of, not actually, pretty smooth, actually. This is the weekly chart for Microsoft. But, the next buy point on the consolidation base is 232. It's 217. So we can't really buy that either. Goodness. So the FANGs are not as fangy as they were, I guess. Hey, Jim, thoughts on Roku and MU? Also talk about stop loss and what to do to decide when to take a break. Good question. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. Roku, of course, is one of my absolute faves. I don't own it right now. I want to own it. I think it's the future of streaming. I have my Roku, and this is the 4th one I've had, I think. And I think they're just great. I think they're really great. I mean, look at this chart. It's pulled back a little bit, but this chart is looking mighty good, mighty nice. 96 relative strength, and look at that, just just moving right up that 40-day line. That's this red line here. Wow, looking really good. Lots of fun sponsorship, nice sales growth. Just everything's looking good for Roku. Let's look at the checklist. 8 out of 9. That's excellent. And again, let's look at the sector. 13 out of 197. So wow, Roku is definitely on the buy list. I'm going to put that down right here. Roku. Now the question is there a place that we can buy this? Let's go to the daily chart to see. There's not really a place where we can buy this. Now I do think it is going to reverse off this 21-day line, but it hasn't done that yet. So we don't want to buy it yet. But here's what you can do. I do believe that Roku is going to change direction. So here's what you do. You set your stop, your buy stop limit order, and you set that right at the 21-day line, which is 324, and then when it reverses, and it reverses higher than 324, then you can get bought in. So that's how I would buy this one. I do think we're going to see a reversal, but it may retreat all the way back to the 40-day line, and that's basically at 277. So Roku could pull back a little bit, but it's still a hot stock. Now, would I buy it at this level? Probably not. I'm going to wait until it reverses. I want to buy it on the reversal. Right now, it's pulling back, so I can't recommend Roku for the buy today, but on a buy stop limit, you might be able to do it as it reverses, so that might be really good. Now, another one of my favorite stocks, and I was trading this very hot and heavy about 3 years ago. This is Micron Technologies, MU. And MU is a great stock because we are going through an upgrade cycle, and everybody needs memory, and this is the largest independent memory manufacturer in the world. I think it's second only to Samsung Industries. It's pulled back a little bit today. The key level on this one is 74.61. It pulled back because it is finding some resistance at about that $75 level. Yeah, absolutely. Currently it's trading for 74.05. There is, so where can we buy this thing? There really isn't an, here's the thing, it looks like it has resistance right at this level, which is basically $74.95, about $75. It looks like there's resistance at that level. So, so that's basically it. So right now, unfortunately, you can't buy it. Out of these two, I would be looking at Roku. We have probably the last question here, BNGO, and this is coming from TikTok. So let's look at that. BNGO. I don't know this stock, so I'll be honest. Oh, Binano Genomics, and this is a classic blow-off top. This is what they call a blow-off top, where it just goes boop like this. It goes all the way up. This is probably a short squeeze. Let's look at the weekly chart. Okay, so do we have shorts? Let's look at shorts for this. Yeah, it's losing money. Okay. Okay, and it has 10 funds. It's very thin. It's got only 4%. Yeah, this is a short squeeze. This is absolutely a short squeeze because you can see the overall trend is down, and then all of a sudden it pops up. Why would that happen? Well, the reason that happens is very simple. People were shorting the stock, and then they had to cover the short position. So would I buy this thing? Absolutely not. And by the way, it's under $10 as well. So that is what I would be doing. Be very careful on those because they call short squeezes, and I think that's definitely the case here. Well, I've come to the end of the hour. Thanks for everybody for stopping by, and of course it's a new year. And that indeed is a good thing as well. So we have a chance to basically get to where we were. But I would like to. I'll be back tomorrow at 2:30. If you want to join subscribe to the Action Trade Alerts. Super easy. Just go to www.ballastTradingFloor and then first and last name, and we'll get you right on the list. And I'm going to be probably putting out an Action Trade Alert. Or a chart school on Riot blockchain because I think it's such an interesting stock, and hopefully I'll have that out for everybody that's subscribed to the Action Trade Alerts. Until tomorrow, I hope to see you back here at 2:30. Happy trading.